Welcome to the channel messages for the Aries total solar eclipse happening on April 20th, 2023. If you're new here, I'm Lisa, and I am the founder of the Healers Podcast, the Make More Money system for healers, coaches, and counselors, and your ascension guide. As many of you know, I channel a group of energies that I refer to as our beloved ascension support team, and there are a few things that I have been given to share with you. The channeling is meant to help bring context to complex subjects regarding our awakening and the ascension path. If you're a healer, please make sure that you visit the description of the video below. I've got tons of resources for you to help you build your practice. And if you don't identify as a healer and you want to join us in the solar eclipse manifesting circle 2 days post the solar eclipse, please look in the description of the video below. You are more than welcome to join. We do this 2 days post because we want the potency of that energy to die down just a little bit, because operating in an intentional way under the solar eclipse could be a little too overwhelming. So the first thing our team wants us to know is that this eclipse speeds up our karmic path. The eclipse at 29 degrees Aries sits only 5 degrees away from the North Node at 4 degrees Taurus. And when this happens, our destiny goes whoosh, much, much faster. And what ends up happening is that karma that we're experiencing or that we're holding in the consciousness body surfaces. So it can be a little uncomfortable, but it's nothing to be scared of, because it's part of our destiny to purge that karma. And remember, as we ascend into higher levels of consciousness, karma starts to dissipate and dissolve, because we become increasingly aware of the oneness of our reality. And when we become aware of and act on behalf of the one, we start to act in a more gracious way to one another and to the earth and to the cosmos. So we start to act in harmony with the universal laws. So let karma speed up. I say, let it be. Let's purge this out and really start to rise up into our destiny. We'd rather go through the difficult times now and get it over with than stay stuck and stagnant for decade after decade after decade. We just have to remember that you are on an ascending path. And when you purge that karma, you give yourself opportunity to allow for the soul's evolution to go faster. And that's big, because when you're stepping into your evolutionary path, then you really start to understand why you came here in the first place. Now, many of you who follow this channel came here as light workers, as starseeds, as empaths, to do the work of a healer, right? To heal the planet and to raise the consciousness of the planet. So what karma you have left should be purged. It should just go, okay? Now, some of the ways to work with this energy is really just to become aware. During eclipse energy, you don't want to do like too much. You just sort of want to lay low. And so you just want to become aware. So some of the things that you might become aware of is the shadow, right? The shadow is that part of us that we don't want anyone to really know about. It is the part of us that responds to triggers. It is the addict. It is the compulsive nature of our being. It's the part of us that we want to pretend we don't have, but we all have. Not only do we have the individual shadow, but we also have the collective shadow. So you may see some of the collective shadow darken a little bit more, or that darkness be illuminated a little bit more with this eclipse. So look out in the news for anything that is specific to politics, economics, financial well-being. That can all sort of be disrupted at this time. It's nothing to fear. It's nothing to fear. It's just what's happening to humanity, and it is truly a great reset, because this is part of our ascension. We are moving from the third dimensional paradigm into a fifth dimensional paradigm. So the more the systems and the structures of the third dimensional paradigm come down, the more we become aware of the nature of creation to build back up in a completely new and different way. And when we start to build back up, we will be doing so from a fifth dimensional awareness, which is what humanity is truly destined for. The next thing they want us to know is that Pluto in a tight square to the eclipse, or the eclipse in a tight square to Pluto, is here to assist in the purging of that karma. The pain of Pluto, which is the planet of death, rebirth, transformation, can be softened when we do the work on a personal level. Otherwise, Pluto will assist you in showing you what needs to go by making it increasingly more difficult for you. So if you battle with addiction, right, it will likely bring more and more addiction and get you in more and more trouble in order to alert you. It's time for that to die. It's time for that addiction to die. If you are compulsive in some way in your life, it will make it harder for you in order to alert you. That's time for that to die. Death and rebirth, that's a huge theme of this eclipse and the planetary alignments to this eclipse. So you have to just ask yourself what really needs to go. If you're a healer, a light worker, a starseed, that's even more important because you're also reaching the next level of your mission work, right? You're reaching that next level of service. And whatever's preventing you from getting to that next level of service, of making more impact on the world, it's going to Pluto will come in and undercut it, right? It'll be like, whoosh, and that might force you to lose ground a little bit. Now, when I was channeling the messages, I got a very vivid picture of Pluto, which is an Aquarius, an air sign, literally blowing air, like wind, onto the eclipse, which is an Aries, a fire sign. So to me, it was like sort of disruptive, but like in a good way, because when it was blowing the air, it was illuminating the shadow. It was showing the darkness. And that's what we need, because sometimes we have repressed things so much in our psyche, and certainly on a collective level, we've repressed a lot of things, right? We've ignored a lot of things, like just, personal opinion, not to force it on anyone, but like how money should probably be taken out of politics, in order to make it a fair game, but we've repressed that for so long. We've allowed things to continue for so long as status quo. And Pluto is like all that air, all that Aquarian air coming through Pluto is like whoosh, and the fire of the eclipse will literally illuminate that shadow. So just keep in mind that it is your responsibility to take care of you, but the work you're doing is also on behalf of the collective, and you don't want to have to rely on Pluto to do work for you. So just at the end of the day, do the work yourself. Now, if you are joining the Manifesting Circle on Saturday, April 22nd, which is in just a few days, we're going to be using the warrior archetype and the element of fire to do some manifesting rituals. But they're not going to be so much about the thing you want to create as much as what you need to embody to be magnetic to what you want to create. You're going to need that warrior archetype for a little bit longer, especially as Pluto jumps in and out of Aquarius and Capricorn over the next couple of months. Yeah, so we'll be working on that. If you want to join, the link is in the description of the video below. And the third thing that they want us to know is that Jupiter is conjunct the eclipse, which is a good thing, right? Because Jupiter is the great benefic. It is the planet of expansion, higher knowledge, higher wisdom. And the message I got here really was for the healers, the people who identify as light workers, as starseeds, as empaths. That could take form of a doctor, it could take form of a coach, it could take form of a counselor, it could take form of a crystal healer, an energy healer. Jupiter is going to expand healers who work on a scientific level. And I don't mean a third dimensional scientific level. I mean more like a fifth dimensional scientific level, whereby things can be proven without third dimensional structures, right? There does need to be some structure to prove something over and over again. But in this case, what Jupiter is telling us is that healers need to, I hate to say this, but this really was the message that I got, was to prove their work a little bit more so that we're not considered the wackos who are coming out of the woodwork. And I'm now specifically referring to crystal healers, energy healers, coaches and counselors who are taking different avenues of healing, not necessarily like the neuroscientists and the classically trained therapists, but those of us who practice alternative healing, we're being asked to come in with more proof of our outcomes. And I know that's frustrating to hear. When I heard it, I was sort of like, well, hold on a minute. Like, not everything has like a scientific outcome. But I think the general theme is that when you can duplicate your work over and over again to some degree, Jupiter will expand it, because Jupiter likes outcomes. It likes the scientific development of an outcome. So the more you can duplicate a specific outcome, or you can set up a system that drives a transformation, the better. Jupiter will expand that. And if you need help in designing a transformation, that's really key to business, to income and impact. If you are truly running a business, you can book a strategy call with me in the link of the description of the video below. What you don't want to do is just go about your daily work and sort of dick around, hoping for the next client, stabbing in the dark for dollars. Jupiter likes to see legit progress, and it's going to expand those healing practices that are making legitimate progress. That's the message that I got. I think generally speaking, what was received was the I am presence, which is Aries. It is the magician. It is the root chakra. It is grounding down into the next level of consciousness. Who are you? Who are you at this moment in time? Because you are not who you were last year. You were not who you were even 5 minutes ago. Who are you in this present moment in time? You want to really consider your I am presence and claim it. Claim it. Be intentional about it. Be truly intentional about being a warrior, Aries, of consciousness, so that you can continue forward on your path of evolution toward your ultimate destiny, which is ascension, right? It is expansion. It is remembering who you really are. So claim it, own it, and love yourself through it. Love yourself through it all. That's a wrap for this episode, my friends. If you dig my vibe, please consider subscribing, like, comment, and share, because that's what helps the channel grow. I'll see you next time.